Hi everybody, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Michael. You're watching another episode of Star Wars News and Views. Oh boy!
This is the big one.
This is a doozy. So, I don't know if you've heard. I'm guessing if you watch this show, you've probably heard. Mm-hmm. But there was a massive leak in concept art from episode 7.
Yep.
And it's nothing too spoilerish. Like, if you're worried about massive spoilers, you can watch this and not feel too guilty about yourself.
Yep.
Let's wait till we get to part 3, though. But I don't know, like J.J. Abrams must be pulling out his hair right
from
now.
From all this concept art that's leaked.
Because
it's all
he's secretive even by normal standards, right? So, yeah, really big deal. So let's get into it. Let's get into all these things because you can't figure out the whole plot of the movie based on this, even though some people are saying you are. But there's definitely large chunks of the movie.
Some of it's vague enough that you wouldn't know.
It's all very vague. It's all vague. That's why we're not giving you a huge spoiler warning on this.
Yeah.
By the time we get to part 3, we're gonna start getting into the plot twists that may.
This one, if you're worried about any spoilers, this is fine. Don't worry about it too much.
Moderate spoilers.
Moderate spoilers, but yeah.
Yeah. So the first thing I guess that we should get into is that there's a bunch of character design pieces have come out, which are pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's one of the Chrome Trooper. It looks awesome. It's exactly what we.
And he's standing over like lava or something like that. It's all reflective.
He's got a cloak. It's like it's as much as you ever wanted to see what a stormtrooper or the Chrome Trooper would look. It looks awesome. It's so good. The concept art's amazing.
You can only imagine what in live action what that's going to look like.
Yeah, and we had a previous episode on this on the Chrome Troopers. Yeah. So this is as if any of this stuff is true, which looks like it is almost for sure. It's confirmed. Chrome Troopers look awesome. So there's a few other ones. There's these piratey type looking people. Another concept art of characters. They've got like metal on their faces and stuff. They look like nitty gritty sort of. They have to like.
And they're drinking at a bar.
Yeah, they're drinking at a bar. Which
and the description of the set is Pirates Cove.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like the cantina or something.
Yeah, maybe even cantina again, but we'll see.
Cantina-ish.
Yeah. So there's those. There's one of Chewbacca. One with just regular Chewbacca standing normally. Another one where he's got a metal hand.
And it says there's a note from the artist. It's like war wound. Or something. Like, so they've seen action in the 20 years since.
Yeah, and there might be a scene with him and Han Solo in some sort of fight. So who knows? Maybe that's when we'll see him lose his hand or something. That's kind of a spoiler as well. Yeah. But we'll see. It's also just concept art, so it might not be true.
Idea.
Yeah, just an idea someone drew down, which looks really cool. There's another one of Kira Solo,
that's not confirmed, but it's basically confirmed.
But if you see this concept art, she's got a belt that looks exactly the same belt buckle as Han Solo. It's got like the gun holster on one side. It's got like loops hanging out on the other side. It looks a lot like Han Solo for sure.
And other artwork, you see her using lightsabers.
Yeah, and then later on we see her using lightsabers. So it also goes back to what we had talked about before about her training with Luke and becoming like the next sort of Jedi apprentice.
And one interesting thing about that is, though, you see what appears to be like her sort of hideout on a desert planet. People are speculating maybe that's Tatooine. Watch part 2 of this video to see our take, because you do see other locations. You see locations, at least one confirmed location from the original trilogy.
Yeah, there's lots of like landscape locations and stuff, which can be rough, but we'll see.
Yeah, but what's interesting about this is she lives on some kind of desert planet, and there's an Imperial walker that has obviously been downed, been taken out in years or
laying
decades
down on its side.
And she's hollowed it out into like a dwelling place. You know, repurposing. This thing was just sitting there collecting dust for the years. And she's like, okay, I'll just hollow it out and put some sheets up and stuff like that and live there.
And it's like a deserted location, perhaps, where she just like has her own little hideout away from any sort of society, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I think.
And you see, there's another piece of art where she's, it's not necessarily her because you see her from behind, but the description, not the description, but like the build and look fits her, and she's riding like a speeder bike into some kind of small town or marketplace.
Yeah, and it makes sense if she has some sort of small like deserted location where she's living, but she's going to town every now and then, and she's got her own speeder, which she can leave in the garage of this downed Imperial walker.
Well, it's like even Luke had a speeder, land speeder, right?
Yeah.
He had to go to Anchorhead to pick up some power converters at Tashi Station.
Yeah. So getting on with some of these, there's also a bunch of ships that we can see. There's a downed TIE fighter also in a desert location, maybe Tatooine, who knows. And there's also some more of stormtroopers looking at TIE fighters, so there's going to be more scenes of the Empire starting off strong. with more battlements and stuff. Also, another one is there's this the Millennium Falcon is setting down at some citadel. This really cool looking citadel. I'm not really sure where it is. We don't really
know where it is. You also see it in some kind of circular hangar. So that's pretty interesting too.
Yeah.
Of course, the big one, the big section of this leaked concept art so far is the head cyborg villain and Darth Vader.
Yeah, we see this hooded figure. He's holding Darth Vader's helmet. There's one where he's seems to be holding Kira hostage at some point. And there's a figure in the front,
foreground, but you don't see who it is.
So we don't know. That's a whole different bag of worms. We have no idea what's going on there. Yeah. And we see some more of him in Kira Solo in some sort of like battle,
some sort of conflict. Yeah. We'll get into that in part 3. We're saving that for part 3 because we're just scratching the surface about that. There's a lot of implications. There's a lot of other rumors related to that.
These are just the facts of what we've seen, that they're there, but this is not our rumors yet.
There's also artwork of Darth Vader's destroyed helmets, like as if it, because when Darth Vader his body was burned, obviously it's supposed to be like armor, so you can see like the plastic part has like melted away, and you see the metal mesh underneath that, because it's supposed to be armor, right?
Yeah.
So, what does that mean? What are the implications of that? What further discussion is that? Oh man, there's a doozy on that one.
Yeah.
But we'll save that for part 3. So this is just like an introduction to this idea that there is this massive breach in security.
Yeah.
Thank God it's not too. It's only spoilerish if you know the context of the artwork.
Yeah, and there's supposed to be a lot more too. This is all that's been released yet. So I don't know who this person is and what they decided to leak, but this is what we've got so far.
So guys, if you can click on this link here, you'll be taken to part 2, where we'll deal with, right now we're kind of introducing the new stuff.
Yeah.
But like we said, there's a lot of potentially old locations, at least one.
Yeah.
And we'll be exploring that in part 2. And stick around for part 3 because it gets even better than that.